Hi everyone, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina K Designs. Today I have a new video for you with my newest set from Gina K Designs, Men of Faith, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to use the little chain and cross to put a necklace either on the neck or the praying hands of the silhouette in this set. And what you can do with this cross and necklace, you can also do with the Women of Faith silhouette. So I'll show you, I'll point to that in a minute. The products that you're going to need for today, in addition to this set, I'm going to be using a MISTI. I love this for stamping bold images. I've also got a smaller block for the words and the cross and the chain. The ink that I'm using today, I've got the Gina K Designs Amalgam ink. That's the jet black, and I've got the Versamark by Tsukineko. That's a Watermark stamping pad for embossing. Then I've just got some gold embossing powder and my heat gun, some adhesive, and then the cardstock that we're going to be using today is the Gina K Pure Luxury Heavy Base Weight White and the Layering White, and then I've got some of her gold metallic cardstock, and I will post the measurements below. Wanted to get this done for you today because if you're watching the day that I posted, we've got our Cyber Monday going on. Today only, it's 25% off of your total order, so I will put the coupon code in the description. So let's get started on making this card. This card I made obviously for my son, but I'm going to make one today for my older son's mentor in Young Life. I just love that guy. I love how he pours into my 16-year-old. So we're going to start by putting down our white mat, and this is 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. Is that right? Let's see. Yeah, sorry, 3.5 by 4 3/4. I don't use the measurements on this very much, obviously. All right, so then we've got the stamp set here. And if you don't want to use the praying hands, I'm going to give you a little tip. If you're not going to always be using them, or you're never going to be using them, you can trim this stamp and cut it in half. And so today I am just going to use the silhouette portion. Just be really careful if you cut that and not to undercut it, because you don't want to go into the base there. So I just did that with some craft scissors. But again, if you want to keep the image together, then you can just carefully mask that off. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and put down the godly part on there. Let's see. No, I'm going to do that with the gold embossing. I'll come back to that. So let's just start with the silhouette right now, and then we'll go back and do our smaller images. All right. So pull that away. I'm going to put down these magnets just to hold that in place there on the bottom. And I'm going to ink this up with the jet black amalgam. Make sure you start with a really clean stamp, that you don't have any little hairs or fuzz or dust that are going to transfer. But again, you can go over this again with the MISTI, and that'll really make a nice solid silhouette. So stamp that right in the corner. And I like to have a little reveal around the edge. It's kind of like an extra layer on the card rather than putting it right up to that corner, but that's up to you. Okay, so let's do it one more time. And it's common to get a little bit of texture on there just because of the texture of that pad. And I've got my little Gina K Tidy towel handy just to wipe off any ink that I get on the MISTI there. So make sure that that's in place right there in the corner. Stamp it one more time, press all over. Okay, that looks really good. All right, so I'm going to just remove this. And now I'm going to do the words on here. So let's go ahead and do the man at the bottom. And then I'm going to stamp in godly with my Versamark. Okay, so I've got man. And then I'm going to do godly in the Versamark, as well as that chain and the cross. So the little cross that you have in this set, this actually fills the cross that is in the Women of Faith. So you can do them two-tone. Just wanted to point that out. So we're going to start first by stamping the chain. And the chain Again, like I showed you on this can hang as if he's holding it in his hands or go around the neck. So just going to ink this up. So it's going to be hard for you to see because it's clear. I just stamp that right on there. And then we'll do the cross. And then we'll do that godly. And then you're going to just stamp the cross just right at the bottom of that chain. So even though it's hard to see in the video, you will be able to see it in real life, just right up next to the edge of that V. And then the godly. And then we'll do all of our embossing powder at one time. You might want to have a scratch paper or tray around to catch that embossing powder. I'm just going to go ahead and use this just to funnel it back into the jar. Put this out of the way for a moment. Okay. All right, so we're going to just pour on just a little bit of this gold. And it would have been a good idea for me to wipe this off before I started just to get all those little gold flecks off. I forgot. There's a little bit of static in here because it's cold. I get it more in the winter than I do at other times. Okay, so close this up, put that away. All right, so I'm just going to emboss this here really quickly, and then I'll do the rest of my stamping. And you just want to move your gun around, and all that powder is just going to go shiny, and then you know it's all melted. This looks so pretty with that gold metallic cardstock. Then I'm just going to add those last little words, the "you are." And I just admire my son's mentor so much. I appreciate all the time that he spends just checking in with him, talking to him. And so I definitely pray for him a lot. It wasn't even on my radar to be mentoring people when I was in college. I was just trying to figure it all out myself. Okay, I'm going to do these separately actually, and then I don't have to worry about getting them lined on the block because they're kind of sticky. So R and then U. Okay. Powder on my hand there. All right, so we're going to just do a little bit of adhesive on this and center this on the gold, and then again on that white card base. So for the other layout that I did, I used the praying hands, and I did it where he had his face pointed up towards the sky, so I put stamped here, "In the storm he is faithful." I did that same thing where I just started with the chain and then added, and I put that in silver, and this is the slate cardstock. And then if you just want to make a stormy sky, I've done it a million times in videos, just do a little bit of sponging with your sponge dauber. All right, so there's these two cards. I also wanted to point out that you can use this same necklace and the chain around her neck here, just stamping it the opposite way, and then also putting it in her hands. So I don't have one made up. This is one that I showed in one of our blog hops where I put a flower in, and I'll show that in a video at another time if you request it. So again, if you want this set, we have it back in stock. It's 25% off right now, as well as everything else in the card. Please check my blog, Hands, Head, and Heart, for more ideas and inspiration using this and all my other stamp sets, and visit us at Gina K Designs and Stamp TV. Thanks so much for watching today. God bless.